We are about to start our panel discussion. I would like to call upon Ms. Anna Titova, who will be our moderator, CEO of Coins Telegram, Mr. Igneus Terrenus, Head of Communication by Bybit, Mr. Shantnoo from Encryptos, advisor and speaker, and Mr. Aaron Levi, CEO of Localtrade. I would also like to call upon CEO of Garantex, Mr. Mohammad Khalifa. Thank you.
Our panel with Exchanges. My name is Anna Tutova. I'm CEO of Coins Telegram, and we have a group of companies. We have crypto fund, news media, and PR agency. And let our speakers to introduce themselves and tell more about the exchanges and what their focus areas are.
Okay, I'm the CEO of Localtrade. The Localtrade is a very ambitious team with a brilliant team of developers heading to top 15 exchanges next year. And we are preaching the simple user experience, as you know from my speech 20 minutes ago. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi everyone, my name is Igneus Terrenus. I'm the head of communications from Bybit. Bybit is a leading global exchange. We are pretty top there when it comes to the volumes and open interest, especially in Bitcoin and Ether, the large cap ones. And really happy to be here with my fellow panelists and looking forward to all the insights.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Shantnoo Saxsena. I am the founder of Encryptos. Encryptos focuses on impartial advisory on crypto projects. We help companies right from licensing to actually launching business models across Middle East and Africa. Predominantly, we work with various other crypto exchanges, global crypto exchanges, I should say. And our role is to tell them with strategy, with commercials, with building business models, etc. Thank you.
My name is Mohammad Khalifa. I'm the CEO of Garantex International Exchange. We are an Estonian company, regulated. We are an exchange platform where clients can avail the services of having cryptocurrency exchange, buying, selling, fiats. We will be expanding very shortly, and that could be in Q1 2020 in United Arab Emirates under regulated license MFT. In Abu Dhabi, and we will be also licensed in Dubai under the OTC and the currency trading license in Dubai.
Thank you for introduction. So let's start with the first question, and I would like to talk about user friendliness of the crypto exchanges. So what are your steps to make it easier for novices to use your exchange? So let's start with you, Aaron.
As you know from my speech 20 minutes ago, if you're being here, the best way is approach the, let's say, very complicated instruments in a manner like fintech revolutionize the banking market. So what we need right now is that brilliant approach of simplifying things to the user, giving the user the simplest access possible. I mean, one-click experience, because all of us as a crypto space guys not understand the level of hardness for general public just to understand what we are doing. We still have a lot of opportunities just to simplifying things and to bring the trillions to our market. Thank you so much.
How Bybit does is really, we build the best product and we make sure it's always reliable. Customers really like to come to us because they know this is an exchange that they can really rely on. Doesn't matter when, doesn't matter what they want to trade, doesn't matter how volatile the market is. They always have the best tool and the best matching engine, the most reliable throughput and everything. So I think lots of times it's just we make sure that the product is manufactured with care, prepared with care, and customers will just come and find it useful, and then they will basically just start to use it.
I think I will echo what my fellow panelists said, but I think what really makes a difference is if you're a crypto exchange, ideally you should be investing more money on your product manager rather than investing a lot of money on your sales team. Because if your product is good, if the user experience and the user journey is good, you have won half the battle. And what generally we have seen companies doing the biggest mistake is, of course, KYC is a very important element, but at what stage you prompt a user to do KYC and how easy or difficult that process is actually distinguishes a good and a bad user experience, right? So I think the most important thing is the product experience. When a user comes onto your platform, they are there for a purpose. What is the purpose? Buy or sell cryptocurrency? So it's just how your options are laid out on your exchange. So in my opinion, these are the important elements, and especially if it's for new users, I think education is very important. They don't know why is it like USDT has got ERC, TRC, Omni, etc. Yeah. So there should be things very nicely laid out, and then things should be simple. A user who is just starting a crypto journey doesn't understand what's the meaning of a deposit and a withdrawal. How about if we just say give and take for them to make it convenient and easy for them?
We at Garantex look at our clients being our partners, and before we present anything to our clients, we consider ourselves to be clients. What is an easy way for us to get accessibility, ease of transactions, ease of process? Novice clients they need education. Some of them, they can go to the online, get the information about different currencies that are available in the market. But from our platform, we have taken the steps and creating artificial intelligence systems, solutions where the KYC is being done in a very easy steps, but still meeting the requirements of the regulators. And also to provide easy tools, friendly to the clients, through application, website, where they can get the service that they're trying to avail. And this is being designed to the different clients. We are not designing it for a super smart or for an unknowledgeable person. We are taking the mid-range. So from all type of categories, they can avail these kind of services. Going and seeing this in the market, today a lot of exchanges are available and a lot of systems are available over there. But having something that is simplified, that could have a similarity to others, this gives an ease and a comfort to any client who's availing the service.
Thank you for sharing your approach, and let's move to the next question, and it's about security of the exchanges, and we have seen a lot of hacks of different exchanges. So what steps are you taking to ensure the security of the exchange and of the funds?
Definitely it's about approach to programming. Everybody knows that when you send something to the moon, and during the lunar program, you double check, triple check everything. You have extensive standardization, creating that code, and extensive standardization of every part of audit of that code in an audit. Also, we are working with the brightest minds and the biggest technical audits teams on the market, like Hacking Foundation, that help us to make sure that what we are doing is have the highest standards possible. Everybody knows that people make mistakes, and we're trying to do our best to protect our users and make the best code possible, as if we send the rocket ship to the moon.
Thank you. Igneus?
Yeah, security is something that we really put a lot of thought into, and one thing that we think kind of like our reputation precedes us. We spend about 25% of our budget on security. That is industry leading. Industry players, they usually spend 10 to 15%. And in terms of the headcount, we actually have close to 200 people working just on security alone. And that would involve like risk management. That would include kind of like just the security in terms of the IT system, in terms of like we have blockchain engineers, and lots of times it's with customer experience, with like what fellow panelists just talked about, KYC, you always have this trade-off. Do you want to over-index on security and kind of like sacrificing customer experience? You don't. But what we do is we kind of like just constantly tweaking to make sure we have a optimal kind of like allocation. It's like game. You kind of like have only so many points you can allocate to security, you can allocate to user experience. There are a bunch of trades, you want to cover them all. And we are constantly reviewing and making sure that customers can really kind of come to us and they can see what we've been doing and they can just see from the actual result of our work and really appreciate the thought and the resources, the effort we put into the work.
Absolutely. I think especially on the security part that you mentioned, having engineers really makes a big difference, the good ones actually. Let me just go back and talk mainly about the basics. I think in the world of technology, things can definitely go wrong. But the whole question is, okay, if things go wrong, what is it that you would do in order to safeguard your users' funds? We know last year, in fact, 3 major exchanges had put withdrawal restrictions because of internal controls. But we know of also one of the major exchanges where the users were able to deposit and withdraw just because they had the right controls in place. So I feel the contingency plan and your evaluation policies where you can evaluate what the risk is and how things can be managed plays an important role. The other thing is definitely regulations. If you are working and operating in a regulated environment, you are bound to be more restricted in terms of your activities, in terms of the products that you can offer. But at the same time, the user funds can also stay safe at all times. And of course, something as simple as having restriction on withdrawals. What happens in today's world? For example, if a user whose account is KYC'd and the wallet is whitelisted, they can even withdraw $1 million. But what happens if crypto exchanges come up with a policy and they say, okay, if you withdraw up to $500, this is the 2FA that you redo. If you do over $500,000, this is 2FA, but with an additional security that you do. So maybe we just have to think out of the box and see how best the user's interest can be taken care of. Thank you.
Security is the most important thing in any kind of business that you do, especially when it comes to the third-party funds or crowdfunding. Crypto exchange is similar to a crowdfunding, and therefore there should be a lot of steps that are be taken for that one. We at Garantex, we have got internal servers, and also we've got the blockchain, online blockchain. Why we have taken these steps? First of all, to have the control over the information that is going, the history of the panels, the history of the wallets, the transactions that are happening, and retrieving information if it's lost by our clients to support them in order to be a part of our customer service. But what is more important than that in system-wise is the blockchain, online blockchain that we are using, because any kind of disruption that happens during that, our clients will be protected at that time and would not be erased. There are a lot of securities which are raised, and a trusted blockchain system is very important to have this platform. The second step, which we have taken also in order to protect also ourselves and our clients from any kind of loss, is the cyber edge insurance. Insurance, and simply, it says protecting yourself against the loss or reinstating the losses up to what it was prior to the loss. So therefore, providing the 3-layer security protection for our client, we have secured our clients' wallets, their portfolios, their assets, and we have an ongoing research and development team on board where they are looking to the best solutions in the market where we can develop and provide better solutions to what is existing today.
Thank you. And Igneus touched the question of KYC, and we have seen the recent crackdown on Binance, the largest cryptocurrency exchange, that they stopped offering trading in Singapore. They as well withdraw the derivatives offerings in the UK, Germany, and Brazil. So I would like to discuss the question of regulations for cryptocurrency exchanges. How do you see this environment currently?
Actually, I love that question. I spent a lot of years in crypto market trying to structure the relationship with regulators, and being part of biggest KYC and AML projects on the market. I'm have a very good understanding what's going on and how to structure that relationships. First of all, being as a Localtrade, being partners with Crystal blockchain, the solution, creating the instruments for the special forces, creating the instruments for regulators to actually manage that regulations. I understand how to create that relationship in a way we could be in compliance, because it's not just our actions, it's our legal team who explain, and our security professionals who explain regulators how to manage that market. And we, with adding that effort, we understand what to do, because a lot of things is self-regulations. And that self-regulations with ability to explain to the regulator what's going on and how we are trying to implement the broader understanding of KYC and AML procedures in our sometimes very complicated instruments. That's our strategy. And we have a successful story of working with regulators all over the world. And as an international project, we have doing a lot of effort through our own power, through our legal team and through our partners like a Crystal blockchain to structure that market, not just for us, but for any big player. So actually, the way you could prevent and let's say create the great relationship with regulator is self-regulation and then ability to explain. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think sort of like regulation is something that as a centralized exchange, as a business, you cannot ignore, and we really think progressive regulation should be welcome, embraced, because in a way we see kind of like our visions not too different from the regulators. We want the customers to be protected, and we want this industry to continue to thrive and grow and for the benefit of everyone. If we have kind of differences, it's always in the approach. Regulators, they tend to use a tool from a toolbox that is like half a century old, and sometimes those tools are just showing their age when we already have amazing technology in blockchain, when all the transactions are recorded and cannot be altered, and you have full transparency. So I think kind of when it comes to regulation and KYC, I personally, I really think we can take a crypto native approach and just instead of using technologies, guardrails that are invented for a different time, for a different set of tools, a different set of technologies, we should really look at what do we have in this current toolbox. But yeah, as a centralized exchange, as I said, we are compliant in every jurisdiction that we operate in. We actually really welcome just more clarity in regulations, so we know exactly what we can do, we know exactly what we cannot do, and then it would actually make everyone's life a lot easier. But I think what my fellow panelists said, it's very important that regulators always take in the feedback from industry players who actually understand the technology, who actually understand the industry, because we really think for there to be a kind of regulatory framework that can allow the industry to thrive, you really need experts, you really need people who understand how it works to be sitting on there, to be making comments, to be helping to create this framework.
Well, I'm sure I'll end up echoing what my other fellow panelists said, but I would love to use the term balanced regulations. If regulations are important, but until we have balanced regulation, there is no way will we achieve our objectives. Neither the regulator will achieve the objectives, nor the companies will be able to achieve the objectives. So that's the first thing. And in fact, when a client approaches us and they say that they run a crypto exchange or an OTC business, the first thing we tell them is, which countries are you looking at? Because until and unless you understand that as a business model, there is no way can you suggest the client the right approach. And we always recommend the client, don't look at one jurisdiction. Look for multiple jurisdictions. Don't just think that you have a beautiful idea and you want to go out and launch a product and you will be out there. I mean, we know of some successful exchanges who launched tokenized stocks, for example, out of nowhere. And these tokenized stocks were taken down by BaFin from the regulators in Germany, wherein they said, what you're trying to achieve is absolutely wrong. You can do it. On the other side, we have some other exchanges who did the same product, but with proper licenses. So I feel just don't keep the product idea in your mind, take that out, but at the same time think about what the lawmakers are thinking about your beautiful idea. So a balanced regulation would, in my opinion, would play a very, very crucial role.
It's a difficult thing for me now to speak about this because I come from a background of a regulator. Like as short as 5 months ago, I was a regulator myself. Being on both sides of the fence, what I can say about this one, the companies need to be close to the regulator. Regulation is being changed every day. Why the regulator exists is to protect the public. Simple. Licensing is there to protect other people who are taking these services. The governments are putting these regulations depending on the different geopolitical requirements of that region, country, financial needs, experience, past history. This is all gone from there. The only best practice any company can do is to be in a live conversation all the time, close to the regulator, have an open conversation with them to know what are the new ones, regulations are coming. And the best way to do that is to have a good legal advisor or to have a good advisor who understands the regulations and the structure of the regulations. Some people that could come and say, I have the X type of licensing. Okay, X type of licensing is giving you X type of activities, but is it sufficient to practice those kind of activities? Because this is a very important and very crucial understanding that any company has to have this. Because if you're practicing like an activity and you're not licensed for it, definitely you will be penalized from the regulator to the extent of closure, losing your clients, public funds will be going, and it could go to the extent of criminal proceedings with that. So therefore, the only solution or the only advice I can give is be close to the regulator, have an open talk, listen to them, talk to them, let them understand what are you doing. Don't make it vague or ununderstandable business. There is no secret between you and the regulator. You need to be an open book with them. Therefore, they can advise you to have the proper licensing, the proper structure. They can guide you to the proper structure that you require. And with that, you will be protecting your clients and your own assets.
Absolutely. Regulator is like a doctor. If you don't tell your problem, you won't get a solution.
Of course.
Thank you. And as well, in connection with regulation toughness to a lot of exchanges, we see now popularization of DeFi, and additionally, we see the influx of traders, users on decentralized exchanges, and exchanges like Uniswap, DDX, so that trading volumes exceeding the trading volumes on Coinbase. One of the biggest centralized cryptocurrency exchanges. So how do your exchanges compete with the indexes? Aaron?
I will provide the ability to answer my partner.
Okay, Igneus?
Yeah, sure. Well, decentralized exchanges, they obviously thrive in the fact that, There are many people who want to have custody to their own wallet. They want to be, providing liquidity in those liquidity pools as an automated market maker. But one thing that decentralized exchanges do not have is something that supports the, the general population. Someone who doesn't have the technical know-how. They don't know how to kind of provide liquidity and add kind of liquidity to Uniswap. And sometimes like they find, oh, the gas fee is too high. Like to add or remove liquidity, I need to pay too much. I think this is where centralized exchange is still by far, in terms of customer service, in terms of making sure that the service quality standard is always at one same standard that people can come and expect, just day in, day out, the reliability all throughout. But, centralized exchange and decentralized exchanges, they don't have to be polar opposites. So Bybit itself is incubating many DeFi projects. We are also investing in some decentralized products as well as exchanges. I think in a way it's kind of like, it doesn't have to be kind of like, a zero-sum game, because the industry is still in kind of a nascent stage, and there is a much bigger total addressable market. So in a way, you can see a lot of cross-pollination. The decentralized exchanges can learn from centralized exchanges in how they can better address customer needs and make sure that they never feel kind of left-handing, whereas centralized exchanges can take kind of what are the key selling points that people come to DEXs for, and really kind of like try to incorporate some of that. But it could also just be, you don't have to only operate as CX. You don't always have just to have one DEX. You can kind of like, have several exchanges. They can create kind of like an ecosystem. If, on any given day the customer wants to be a liquidity provider in a liquidity pool, they can go there. But if they want to go somewhere else, there's also somewhere else to go. It's really important that you provide a whole ecosystem that satisfies people's needs at all times.
Okay, great. Well, it's funny because, 2 years back, nobody would talk about decentralized exchanges, and now, we are talking about different types of exchange business within a crypto business. This actually shows how quickly this industry is growing. Nobody would have ever imagined that in a year, 2 years down the line, we'll be talking about DEXs. But I think there are two major differences, in my opinion, which I think between the centralized and the decentralized exchanges. Number one, of course, we talked about regulations. It's very hard to monitor the DEXs in terms of activity, in terms of the characters. We keep using the term coin mixers, for example. It's very easy for people to bring in unclean coins onto the DEXs and put the risk onto the other users because they don't use coin monitoring systems. I mean, when I say they, I mean to say in general, the coin monitoring systems are missing, right? How do you know the quality of the coins which are being exchanged on these DEXs? Number one major issue. The other challenge I feel is for new users. I mean, the world keeps talking about the DeFi, but I still feel we haven't even captured the people who understand the crypto business. And on the other side, we are pushing a product wherein a user cannot integrate a simple wallet to their core wallet. And that's DEX for you. So think about a user who is new to cryptos and they want to connect their MetaMask wallet with a DEX and with the decentralized exchange. This is the challenge. I think the education will play a very important role. The usability, I think you were showing in your presentation how you are bridging that gap. So products like this, I think in the long term will make a big impact in the decentralized world. And finally, I see, why is it the world either talks about centralized and decentralized? Why can we not talk about CD? Let's have a product which is centralized and decentralized. You have the beauty of both the products combined in one, and what's missing is regulations. Again, going back to the same topic. So all in all, I feel this could be a systematic approach towards the decentralized world.
This is a difficult one now. You put me in a very bad corner.
I like difficult questions.
Yeah. No, it's because I was a regulator. I understand what you're talking about. I know the practice. I know the difficulties where the companies are facing, how to centralize, decentralize. You have different jurisdictions, how to combine. Through past of my, career, I've worked with multinational companies. And this is one of the biggest challenges I was facing. AIG, Citibank, Barclays Bank, different regulations, different countries, different laws. And still, you need to report to your home country, and you've got to have a unified law with that. With crypto, it's not that, because there is no central bank for that. There is no regulation for that one. There are multiple licenses for that. If you understand the proper structure for the activities that you would like to conduct through your exchange, then you will understand what kind of licensing or how many activities you need to add to the license to have. I like the Rolls-Royce way of, marketing of themselves. The question was asked to the CEO of Rolls-Royce, why don't we have any ads of Rolls-Royce? They say because those who drive Rolls-Royces are not watching TVs. Having proper information, reading, doing a proper research is the base of any kind of success for any decision to be taken. We see a lot of currency unifying and de-unifying. We have seen it in this region. We've seen it between the UAE and Qatar. We've seen it UAE and Egypt, Egypt and Syria. And now we have a unified, which was just a few years back. We're talking about like 2003. As early as that, we have the euro, which more than 18 countries have got unified. They put one currency, the central bank, but the derivatives behind it, how does it work? What effect does it bring? So why didn't Switzerland join it? Why didn't the UK join it? So these are all of the things that you need to take into consideration when you're doing any kind of investment into crypto. Centralizing any kind of crypto, this will create a big disruption to what the market or the competition that is existing today, especially how it's developing to what it is and how it's disrupting the financial systems. Countries are relying on crypto today. Let's take Venezuela, Argentina. They're mainly depending on Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT. Simple. Why? Because their currency doesn't have any value, and this is the only value for them. And this brings stability to their economy. So you have gone to the level of a country, no more to an investor. Crypto exchangers need to be regulated, and I believe in that one, but it needs to be done the right way. The right controls need to be over there. When I see too many, rewards, marketing, over-marketing, I open my phone. My sister calls me. I see Binance. My brother calls me. I see another company. So what does that tell me? Over-marketing, it shows that there is something or something worthy of your investigation, more into getting involved into that.
Okay, I want to add. I just want to add something. Regarding that question, we will not trying to solve every problem on the market, but we have our special approach. It's just our approach is a local trade. We do our due diligence, and we integrate very complicated DEX instruments, simplifying access to them with Visa or MasterCard in a manner of seconds, with very simple approach to very complicated DeFi instruments. So our approach is driving the broad audience to that complicated, sometimes very interesting projects, and help them to get that traction. And afterwards, I hope they will find the solution for themselves while we are helping them to flourish. That's just our goal, our strategy, and that's what we do as a local trade. Thank you.
So we have the place for both centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges, and thank you for interesting discussions to all the panelists.
To my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.